not met before, my name's Andy, and I'm the head of children and youth here in the church. And the title of this morning's message is The Picture of the Promise. The Picture of the Promise. Now, I've had a real privilege the last couple of years in whatever church I've been, whether that's been here or whether that's been back in my church in Liverpool, and I've had the privilege of being able to speak the first Sunday of the year and to speak for New Year. And it's a real privilege to me, and it's a real honor, because to me it's like, what an opportunity to speak some faith, love, and hope and give you a bit of encouragement as you go into the new year. But also I love it because at the end of this talk, every single one of you can come up to me and say, Andy, that was the best talk I heard all year. And I love it. I know that is my annual New Year's joke, so feel free to wait till next year for that one to come back. But at New Year, it is kind of like an annual thing, and there's not just because a year changes, but there's kind of annual things that happen kind of within us as well. I would say that like the 31st of December is kind of like a global day of reflection. You know, you reflect back on the year that has been, you think back as to what has happened, what hasn't happened, what went well, what didn't go so well. And then you get to the 1st of January, and it's kind of like a global day of imagination. You know, you think as to what you want the year to be like. You set some goals. You think about what your desires are. You picture what you want the year to be like. You think of your vision, your mission for the new year. And maybe you set yourself some things and some desires and whatever it might be that you want to happen in the new year. And so what we do in that process is we create this picture in our minds, this picture of what we want the year to be like. But I want to say that there's a better thing altogether than just the pictures that we create. And whilst we have our own desires and whilst we want our own things to happen, there is a difference between our pictures and the pictures that God gives. You see, because God-given pictures are God-given promises. God-given pictures are God-given promises. And I like to come into the new year and I like to go through life asking God for his promises, because they are the best pictures that there are. And I got to be honest, I like pictures. I'm not very artistic, but I do like to try and draw something and do a little bit of coloring. I know, so cool. And I do enjoy it. And, you know, when I think of God's pictures, I see them like my pictures. You know, they're kind of like, they're full of color. And they're full of life. And there's all kinds of different things in them. And I just love it. And I think about what God's going to do in the next year. I think of my hopes and my dreams and all those things. And I think about what God might do. And I think, oh, this is so full of beautiful color and beautiful life. And I feel like for Simeon in this story, when the Holy Spirit said to him, you're going to see Jesus. You're going to see the Messiah. Before you die, that will happen. And I bet he thought that in his mind, and I bet he got in his journal and he drew a picture and he thought, wow, isn't that so full of color? Isn't that so amazing? Isn't that so exciting? And maybe some of you are really feeling like that in the new year. But I wonder if there's some of you, you're not thinking of the new year as one of color, but you're looking at the new year and it's actually a bit of a blank page. It's a bit of a blank canvas. It's kind of like you see this year and, you know, there's two ways you can look at a blank page. You can look at a blank page in the way that you're really hopeful or you're really hopeless. You know, you could look at it and go, this page right now is empty. Which means I have endless possibilities for creativity. There is endless things that God could do in this new year. You know, you see the unknown as this brilliant thing. You have no idea what's going to happen, but it's exciting. Like you've got no idea what the future holds, but you do know who holds the future. And so it doesn't matter that you have this blank canvas, because actually it's really, really exciting. What might God do? Who knows? It's so, so exciting. But on the flip side, you could see a blank page and go, I'm coming into this year and I've kind of got a little bit of nothing. Like 2022 was difficult. There was lots of trauma that happened. There was difficult seasons in it. There was challenges. There was obstacles. And you kind of look at that blank page and go, yeah, I get what you're saying, Andy, but for me, I feel like there's just not much there right now. I'd love to see something happen on my page, but I just see it as a little bit of nothingness right now. But what I want to say to you is Anna in this story shows us the perfect example of what to do with a blank page. You see, Anna, what we learn about her in this story is that she has this real traumatic loss that happens in her life. As she's young, she has her husband, but then she's only married for 7 years, and then she loses her husband. And she has this real grief in her life. And we know that it must have been a really difficult thing, because the Bible then says that, and some translations say that she wasn't that she was 84 years old, but it was that she was 84 years since her husband passed. And so she had this elongated grief and mourning and pain in her life. She had this long-standing blank page that was there. But yet, she still went to the temple, she still prayed, she still pursued God. And in the end, her blank page became filled with color. Because what she did, what happened to her in her just turning up every day, just showing up, doing the same thing again and again, her perseverance, her continuing to explore the blank page, she then all of a sudden sees Jesus. And as soon as she sees Jesus, she starts seeing this really colorful picture. And she starts seeing what could happen and what will happen in Jesus' life. And so what I want to say to you is, if you feel like your year right now is a blank page, if you want to see a colorful page, all you've got to do is see Jesus. See Jesus, see a picture. See Jesus, see a promise. And that's what Jesus wants for all of us. He wants us to seek after him so that he can turn our blank page into a page full of color. But for some of you, you might not necessarily look at your page as like a blank page. You might see your page as kind of something in the middle between the blank and the color. You might come into this year thinking, well, I've got a little bit of something. I mean, there's a little bit of an outline there. Like, I can see what needs to be colored in. Like, something's kind of taking shape. I mean, so my brother, when he was younger, my brother used to get Lego all the time for Christmas. Like, if you go into like our living room, you'll see Lego everywhere of what my brother has created. And not that I'm bitter, but there's none of my pictures on the wall in our house. But anyway, my brother's Lego is everywhere. And what's really interesting about Lego is when you go into the Lego shop or when you open a present of Lego, you open it and you see this picture. And you think, whoa, that picture looks so good. It looks so colorful. Like, I can't wait for all of that. I can't wait to see that reality. And then you open the box and you're still really, really excited. But then you find that the picture is in pieces. In fact, it's in lots, oh my goodness, of pieces. In fact, I just opened this box fresh this morning, and I didn't realize how many pieces were in this. There's so many pieces that you've got to put together in order to get to the picture or get to the promise. And one of the things is when God makes a promise over your life, there's often a process en route to the promise. There's a process en route to the promise. And that process, annoyingly, often comes in lots and lots of pieces. And the thing is, every piece is important. Every piece is significant. Every piece plays a part in the process to get to the promise, to get to the picture, to get to that thing that God showed you. And I love Simeon in this because he's so in the detail. Like in the passage, we see a couple of times how it says how the Holy Spirit was on him. And as the Holy Spirit was on him, he acted in certain ways. And so if we want to do the process really well to get to the picture, to get to the promise, we've got to be in tune with the Holy Spirit. We've got to do what the Holy Spirit wants. We've got to see every piece of the puzzle as significant and every little detail as significant. Because if you don't see every detail as significant, the picture that you end up with could be different to what you pictured at the start. Just before Christmas, I went for a Christmas meal with some friends, and there was one particular friend at this Christmas meal who was really, really excited about their starter. And they were really, really excited. They were looking forward to it. They said, "This is what I'm having. It's going to be so good." And then it came to them, and they saw this thing on top of their starter. And they were like, "Ooh, I wonder what this is." And they're like, "I think it might be some really nice cheesy thing." That was their expectation. That was the picture they had in their mind. And then when they cut into it, they realized that it wasn't cheese, but in fact, it was an egg. And this egg had all kinds of stuff around it. And this friend of mine was like, "I thought this was cheese, but in the end, I've got a crispy egg. What is this? This was not what I was expecting. This was not what I pictured when I ordered this thing." Now, if my friend had have read all of the description as to what she was ordering, they may have not had the surprise. They may have got what they expected. But this is the point, guys. This is the point. We've got to be so into the details of the process. We've got to understand that every little bit is significant. And when we see that every little bit is significant and every detail is important, that's how we build towards this picture, how we build towards this promise. Being in tune with God's Spirit is the thing that helps the promise take shape. And it's as that happens, as we are like Simeon, and as we devote our life to God as Simeon did, and as we are listening and in tune with the Holy Spirit, that's when, out of nowhere, our blank page, our outline page, turns into that colorful page. But the color only comes when we see Jesus. Because when we think about promises, God speaks many promises over us in the Bible. God can speak many promises over us as we go through our own lives. But the ultimate promise is Jesus himself. Jesus is someone who will paint a better picture for your life than anyone else will. And so as you go into 2023 and as you think about the drawings and the writings that maybe you want to do on your blank page, if you think of the ways that you want to color in the things that have taken shape, actually for that picture to look as beautiful and as colorful as possible, you need to give the paintbrush to Jesus, because the picture that he paints will always be better than the picture that you paint. Because that's what Jesus is all about. The Bible says how Jesus came so that we may have an abundant life, a life that is full of color, that is full of brightness, that is full of beautiful stories and great memories and overcoming obstacles and defeating challenges. That's the life that Jesus promises us. He doesn't promise that it's easy. In fact, he promises that it's actually really, really hard. But he does promise that it's the best life, and it's a life of abundant color. So as you go into this new year, give Jesus the paintbrush. Let him write the story of your 2023. And I guarantee that you'll look back on this year, on the annual day of reflection, on the 31st of December, and you might just see some colorful stuff as you do. Let's pray. Lord Jesus, I thank you that you came to give us an abundant life. And God, I pray for every person here or online today, wherever they are coming into this new year, whether they feel like it's a blank page, God, I pray that you would help them to see you so that they can fill that page. Lord, whether they've got just the outline of some stuff and they know there's some stuff going on and it's a bit of a process, Holy Spirit, would you help all of us to be in tune with your Spirit and move as you move and do the things that you want us to do at the time that you want us to do them. And Lord, may we get to the end of this year, no matter what good or bad that it does hold, but Lord, may we get to the end of this year looking back and seeing that beautiful color, that beautiful masterpiece that you have created for us in 2023. So Jesus, we give our years to you. We give our paintbrushes and our writing material. We give it all to you, knowing that you write the best story and you paint the best picture. In Jesus' name, amen.